Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Ask Alan, the Legal Bulletin. Got a very interesting question today, and that is, are non-competes effective in a layoff? And the short answer is yes. And I'm going to qualify that by saying a non-compete is as effective in a layoff as it is in another situation. Non-competes aren't automatically effective, they're not automatically invalid. Really depends on your particular situation. Now, I think that every judge is going to take into consideration the fact that you've been laid off or that you're laying someone off as one of the equities to balance when deciding whether or not to enforce the non-compete. Very much a different situation if you have, let's just say you have a salesperson who leaves company A, going to company B, or maybe they're going to start their own business and they're going to try to take customers from their previous employer, or they're just going to compete for new customers against the old employer in this new situation. Well, there are going to be lots of things the court is going to look at to determine whether or not that conduct should be prevented. And one of the things they're going to look at is, well, why did the person leave the company, the enforcing company, to begin with? And so if the employee stands up and says, well, Your Honor, look, I didn't choose to leave, I was laid off and I got to make a living. That's an argument that the judge is going to listen to. Conversely, if the enforcing company says, look, Mr. Smith left my company and in the dead of night, and he's trying to take a bunch of his customers with him, and I put a whole bunch of time and money into his training, and I gave him resources, the court's going to look at that as well. Now, that doesn't mean that if you've been laid off, you've got a ironclad defense, and it doesn't mean if you're laying someone off that you can't enforce your non-compete. It means you have to be smart about it. You have to look at all of the circumstances, and again, you got to figure out, is there a compelling business interest to be protected here? And if there is, then a court is going to enforce that non-compete to some extent or the other. It's an equitable remedy, which is a fancy lawyer way of saying the court's going to look at all of the factors and balance those and hopefully do equity, do what is right, give the enforcing company the benefit of their bargain, but also at the same time allow the worker the opportunity to make a living in some form or fashion. So are non-competes effective in a layoff? They are just as effective in a layoff as any other time, but the fact that someone has been laid off is going to be a factor that the court will consider when it decides whether or not to enforce a non-compete and how far the court will enforce the non-compete. So I hope this has been helpful. If you've enjoyed this, please share us on social media or recommend it to a friend. I'm Alan Crone. I'm gonna go get some justice. Thank you.